Hello everyone, welcome to this lab. In this lab we are going to install the LAMP stack. LAMP stack stands for Linux, Apache, PHP and MySQL. So let us start by installing Apache first. I will type sudo apt get install Apache 2. If it asks you for permission to use the disk space, just type yes and enter. After installing Apache, of course, if I try to navigate to Firefox and go to localhost, so I just type localhost in the URL, I should see this page that Apache is working. Next, let us install PHP. So again, sudo apt get install PHP. In this case, it will install the stable version of PHP, which is PHP 7. Now, after installing PHP, we need to install MySQL. So sudo apt get install MySQL, and there is an extension for MySQL that we need to install as well. So just let me verify. We need to type MySQL server, and there is an extension for MySQL, but we'll install it in the next step. So MySQL server is where our database is going to live, and our tables, basically our data. And then of course, to allow MySQL to speak with PHP, there is a plugin, MySQLi plugin, which is php-mysqli. We are going to install it next. Just let's give it a minute. Of course, in this case, MySQL is running on this process ID. It will automatically start it for us. We don't need to use systemctl in this case. After installing MySQL server, we need to install it was, if I remember correctly, php-mysqli. And with that, all the requirements are ready. Now there is now out of the box there are no configurations needed. For now, let me just start by changing the extension of the home page in index.html. So I'm going to actually leave it as is, and then type again. It's not nano. It's first we need to use move to rename the file. So var www.html index.php. Okay, and just in case, I'm going to restart the Apache process. So sudo, because we installed many things. Systemctl restart Apache 2, and then if I go back to my localhost page, nothing should change actually. It should display the same message. Now let us clear the content. If I type sudo echo and then I echo an empty string, and then basically pipe the output into our file var www.html index. sometimes happens, unfortunately. We are blocked from changing the content of the file. In this case, let me just edit the file directly. I'm going to use Control 6 and delete all the content, and I'm going to type a simple PHP code just to make sure that our file is working properly. Now I'm going to open a PHP tag and then type echo. Let's print the date, for example. And then I'm going to close the PHP tag and save the content of the file. If I go back to localhost and refresh the page, I should see that the file is working, and it is printing the current date. Now, in order to, I'll leave this file open actually, I'm going to come back to it. In order to let MySQL speak to PHP, first let us set up the root username and password for MySQL. So I'm going to type sudo MySQL. This will open the MySQL server terminal, and then I'm going to type there is a command which is alter. If I remember correctly, we need to alter the users, and of course these commands you'll find them in the lab file. Alter user root localhost, alter user, then we type root at localhost, and then what we need to type identified with MySQL native password, all one word with underscores, and this is actually we need to give it the password that we want to set for this root user. So I'll type 123. So I think this is it. Let me just reopen the close tab, go back to my command, alter user. It has to be all uppercase, and then I'm going to flush privileges. And afterwards I'm going to actually exit out of MySQL. When I try now to use sudo MySQL, now actually I need to provide the user, which is root in this case, and provide the password flag. The password flag, I set it to be 123. Now we are logged in with the root user. I'm going to create database test underscore db, and then I'm going to use test underscore db, and then I'm going to create a table. I'll call it bits, and the definition for this table, if I remember correctly, we just go back to this part, is just name varchar 20. So name varchar 20, and then I'm going to insert into bit values, and I just want to insert any value, and with that we are done with MySQL. We have our data, All that is remaining is to edit the file to display this data. So last but not least, I'm going to delete everything here, and I'm going to actually I already copied this code because it's going to take me a little bit time to write it. So I'm going to copy this PHP code and paste it. Basically, this PHP code will create a new database connection to test DB, and it will select the name column from the pets table, and then it's going to loop over the rows and display all the pets. If we save the code and we refresh the page, we see that just 1 second, I think there might be a row echo name. Okay, let's take a look at, maybe I typed it incorrectly. Oh yeah, this actually the value is supposed to be cat or any kind of pet. Let me use test DB. But anyway, it doesn't matter, it's a value. No matter what is the value, it will be printed here. So name, cat and dog and whatever. Okay. And actually this is it for LAMP stack. So most of our work, the nice thing about this stack, it is almost ready to use out of the box. Of course, in our case, MySQLi was able to speak to PHP only through the plugin. Apache is set up on localhost. The firewall rules are open, so it is a nice stack to start with. In case you faced a problem with the MySQLi plugin, you can also make sure that the extension is enabled. I believe it is if you type sudo nano /etc/php, and in the CLI directory you will find php.ini, and here if you search for MySQLi, let me search for it again. It is actually recommended to enable the extension here as well. Forgot to do that. So this would be after setting up MySQLi, installing MySQL and MySQLi. I would recommend enabling the extension in the php.ini file. Okay, and this is it for this lab. It is, of course, most of the work is done in MySQL, as you can see. And of course, writing this code, you have to be very precise and avoid any spelling or case mistakes. And that's it. Thank you, and see you in the next lab.